Hey folks, Paul Nattrell here from Mrbannock Food here in Vancouver. Today I am with.
Hi, my name's Quentin, and I'm calling via New York City.
Nice, nice. Thank you for joining me in this call today. How is
Oh, you're
your
welcome.
How's your day going today?
Definitely going a lot better than some other days in the past. So I've
Yeah,
had a lot more energy, always having positivity, but today just seems to be filled with positivity, and hopefully it carries through the weekend and the rest of the upcoming week and the rest of the time until such time as this whole situation gets better.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, I'm excited to have you. There's people on my social media that were telling me that I should get you on here, so here we are. Can you
Oh, well, thank you kindly.
You're welcome. So, can you let me know where you live right now and then where you're from?
All right. Well, currently I reside here in New York City. Been here now for the past uh, 2 and 3/4 years. Come September, it'll be 3 years total. I'm originally from Edmonton, Alberta, but to tell you exactly where I've lived in Alberta, I can do that in one breath, but I
Yeah.
don't think you want to go there right now.
Yeah.
I'm also a member of the Frog Lake Cree First Nations.
Nice. Nice. Represent, right?
Doing what I can.
Yeah. So, like we heard, you're doing good, keeping busy. But do you have a family? Do you have a spouse? Do you have
I
kids?
yeah, definitely. I do have a family here. I have my lovely wife
Yeah.
and our 17-month-old son, who definitely keeps me on my toes, and well, both of us on our toes. And so that's been probably the biggest challenge, but yet by far the biggest positive thing that we have going on for us here
Yeah.
at this time.
Nice, man. That sounds awesome. Like being indigenous, like it's all about family, right?
Yeah,
Family, food, and health. All you can wish for these days, right?
definitely.
And it definitely sounds that you're super busy. Like I remember having like a very young kid at that age, right? But for me, like we have six kids here, so it was like having twins or triplets when they were all younger. It was
I can only
definitely,
imagine how that would be.
yeah, I know, right? I remember like before I got back into culinary, and I was just like a regular, like working regular jobs, like in the communities, right? But I lived in Surrey, and I remember having my youngest in a snuggly, and then one kid walking, and then two kids on a double stroller, just like just huffing it everywhere around Surrey. It was good
Definitely a
time.
great way to get your cardio, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that sounds awesome. So, what kind of food do you cook during these times right now?
During these times right now, the type of food that I cook is basically whatever I feel like cooking, whatever my wife requests or what she feels like cooking.
Yeah,
Definitely got to keep in mind my son when it comes to food as well.
yeah,
Um, Definitely during these times, it's been started off with a lot of root vegetables and uh, items that you can keep in your pantry and not have to worry too much
yeah,
about going bad. So definitely the mentality when it comes to shopping and purchasing food
yeah,
has has changed, and I wouldn't know really how to describe it. I guess you could say kind of going back in time, but in a modern way, because
yeah,
back in the day there was no refrigeration, or at least in Alberta there was a freezer for about 9 months of the year. But here it's definitely got to change your perspective on things. It's not like I can just run out to the store now and get that item that I need that is best used fresh, or to fill up on perishable food items that don't last as long. So definitely took a look into just making sure that we had items like carrots, potatoes, sweet potatoes, parsnips, just the good root winter vegetables that do last a longer period of time. When it comes to what type of meals I've been cooking, definitely been playing a lot more with Asian cooking. For instance, this evening we made my take, or my first ever take on a Vietnamese bun bowl.
Yeah.
So dried vermicelli noodles, and
Oh man.
when eating it, then I was like, I really wish I could try this with some moose or some elk, or even buffalo for that matter. And I was like, can't
Yeah.
get that here. Like, I can't just, like, back home, I know who I can go to get buffalo. I know
Yeah.
I can call up my brother and say, hey, do you have any moose or elk or deer? And he'd be like, yeah, let me grab you some. But it's a little different here.
Yeah. No doubt, right?
Yeah.
And like all of those root vegetables right now, like winter's finishing up and spring is almost upon us, right?
Yeah.
So like as a kid growing up, and like an indigenous kid, like I wasn't a big fan of produce, and like our like salmon here on the west coast, right? But growing
Yeah.
as a man and a chef, like I know how to cook those now, and I know how to make them taste good. What would a suggestion you give to these people about making with root vegetables?
Um, the biggest thing I would have as a suggestion, or just uh, for advice, don't be afraid to burn something.
Yeah.
Cooking is, it's, if you're baking or working in pastries, then that's a science. There's reasons why the amounts are exact and precise.
Yeah.
When you're cooking, there's room for freedom and play,
Yeah.
right? And yeah, you can't be afraid to burn something. You can't be afraid to make something that you're used to making 100 times, and then all of a sudden one day it's gonna
Yeah.
screw up on you. For instance, today we were craving macaroni and cheese, so I
Yeah.
went to make a bechamel,
Yeah.
or turn it into a cheese sauce. And as I'm thickening it with my roux, all of
Yeah.
a sudden I see my milk starting to curdle, and I'm like, why is it doing this, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's always some reason. I have a bunch of theories in my head, but now is not the time to be stressing about that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And did I throw it out? No, I didn't. I just added a lot more cheese to it, and you know what? We ate it. It hit the spot. My kid enjoyed it. That's all that mattered. And just thankful that we're
Nice.
here today, and just there's people that are not in that are in worse conditions, and
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Just talking about that brings me back to like when I first started like catering and going off on my own. I had one of these cooks, and they're a pretty good cook for sure. But like you said, it just takes a minute for something to be turned up pretty high, and then it starts
Yeah.
burning, right?
Oh,
And
definitely.
I think we were cooking for like 100 people, and they were doing a bechamel sauce, and it got burned.
Yeah, don't want to scrape the bottom when that
we
happens.
I caught it like pretty quick because I can smell it, right?
Yeah.
And Yeah, like all I did was add I turned it into a spicy sauce, like a like a spicy bechamel sauce.
Don't be giving away our secrets now.
It's just a little tip. Yeah. But yeah, like definitely like I remember one of my very first times making bannock and like Mrbannock, right? Like that's the name, that's the brand. And I probably burnt or maybe two batches didn't turn out right. They were like hockey pucks.
Yeah.
But like growing and learning from your mistakes is what you got to do, right? And
Yep.
there's no better way to do it than right now. Like e-
Yeah.
everybody has a ton of time. Like just have fun and test out new things. Practice some grilling, practice some sautéing or searing, right?
Yeah.
Just have some fun, but also be safe.
Oh, definitely. I mean, now's not the time you want to burn the kitchen down, but it's like I tell anyone that asks me, how do I cook, or
Yeah,
how do I learn to cook? I
yeah,
always tell them, like, have patience when you do it. Make sure that you have the time set aside to do it.
yeah,
Find a recipe that you like and that you're comfortable with, and then from that point on, that recipe, it's like it's a blueprint of a building, we'll say. It's the structure, the base, and like any blueprint,
yeah,
you can make changes. If you think it's too salty, cut back on the salt. If you think, oh, it should be this versus this,
yeah,
make the adaptation. Feel free to experiment. That's how you take a look at. We'll just say French cooking. You
yeah,
take a look at all the French techniques and the recipes. They weren't created in one shot. We're
yeah,
talking about bechamel, one of the five mother sauces. That wasn't done overnight. That was just something someone was like, oh, what if I took a studded onion with
yeah,
clove and bay leaf and thickened it with something, and oh, look, it's a thick sauce or a soup, and
yeah,
voila, right? So, I mean, every day there's always something new that's coming in, that's being played with, that's being experimented with, and that's probably half the reason why anybody I know who cooks and continues to cook do it. It's because they have the love to do it. They want to. It's a legal way of being a mad scientist.
yeah. We definitely have to be a little bit crazy to do what we do, right?
In a positive way, yes.
Yeah, because well, like for me, like as Mrbannock and like everything that I've been doing, like the most people we cooked for in a three, I'd say 4 to 5 hour service was for 2,400 people, and that was on National Indigenous Day last year.
Oh
It was
wow.
it was pretty crazy, but like everything was consistent. Like the all the flavors were there, the textures were there, and
Yeah.
yeah. So
Definitely a challenge, that's for sure.
yeah, yeah. Well, you have to have an awesome crew that you can rely on and that can execute what you want, right?
Yep.
So, like with that being said, would you have any tips about plating and, uh, yeah, plating a dish? Like, especially if you're trying to be a foodie and up your game a little bit on showing the world what your cooking skills are like.
Um, for me, I'm a very visual learner. I like to visually see what's being done. If I'm there with you and you're showing me a dish, I want to see what you're doing. I want to do it with you at the same time, so I have the general understanding of what it is that you're trying to do. I personally,
Yeah,
I YouTube a lot of things, and some people will tell you, don't YouTube it and that's part and parcel true, because
Yeah.
I'm going to use bechamel again, because there's going to be a million chefs out there that are going to tell you how to make a bechamel. And is there a right way? There's the basic right way to do it, but then there's going to be your adaptation of the way it should be done, which is fine, right? It's like if someone comes up to you and I and says, "Hey, here's a head of asparagus each for both of you. I want you to grill it for me," and it walks away. You're going to do your asparagus grilled the way that you want to do it. I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. Not going to be exactly the same, but you're going to get two different products, right? Um, Instagram is a great thing. Just again, because I'm a visual learner, there's a lot of great ideas and tricks in there from professional chefs on the global Michelin star stage, where they're showing you, okay, this is how we do this. This is how we do a quentin. This is how we take this sauce and give it that little twist on the plate to give you this effect. And yeah, I watch those periodically because it's like, okay, I get it. That's how they did that. Um, Pinterest is another great one. I keep forgetting I have a Pinterest account, and like, oh yeah, this is what I was searching for the other day. That's definitely a great source right there. Um, if you're a young culinary person in the beginning stages in college, definitely try and stage where you can, right? Because it doesn't matter how good or bad the chef that you're working for or staging with is, you will, I guarantee you, you will walk away learning at least one thing from that chef, whether it be that one thing be a thing that you remember to do for the future in a positive way, or in a negative way, like, whoa, that guy, the way he treated that person and spoke about this, that's, to me, wasn't cool. So I'm not gonna, if I'm in that situation, I'm gonna handle it this way, and vice versa in a positive way.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. There's those are pretty well the major things that I would say too, right? Everybody.
Yeah, and sorry, just adding this in,
Yeah.
if you're looking at it from an indigenous standpoint, then your elders,
Yes. Yes.
your elders are, let's face it, our history is not written down. It's a history that wasn't written on, well, it was documented on stone through paintings, yes, but do we have a book that's been passed down through generation of collecting wisdom and facts, like you would in Rome or Europe, or even in a young country such as Brazil, for that example? We don't. All our history is taught through sharing and storytelling, and just handing it down through generation through generation through generation. And that to me is special and unique about being an indigenous person in North America, let alone anywhere in the world. And definitely with your elders, listen to them. And again, same concept. If that, you will learn one thing from any elder, whether it be a positive or a negative
Yeah.
concept or
Yep.
thing or lesson.
Yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, exactly. Like when I was younger, and like before I became a professional cook, a professional chef, before I started Mrbannock, like some of the memories I have is cooking with both my grandmothers, right? Uh,
Yeah.
my my father passed away when I was really young, and my mom was a single mother, but my grandmother sure stepped up and helped raise me and my two sisters, and like helped out my mom, right? and I learned a lot of different things from both my grandmothers and my mom,
Yeah.
obviously, right? Just being in the kitchen with them, and just yeah, like a lot of magic happened, and they're really good cooks, and it's hard to master what they did, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
No, definitely, and that's something that every young person has to remember, or should at least keep in mind.
yeah, for sure. And another question here. Where did you work before all this madness started?
Um, I worked right here in New York City.
Can I ask you one
Nothing.
thing? Is is it really, how is it down there? Is it like on TV? I've never been to
That's
New
a
York, and
that's a great question. To be honest with you, I can't answer that
yeah.
honestly because we don't have cable,
Oh, okay.
so we don't watch TV live like that. I listen to it on the news, and yeah,
Yeah.
it sounds horrific. And then I look outside, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, there's like 10 people on the street.
Yeah.
Definitely, traffic has slowed down immensely.
Yeah.
I only hear sirens 3 times a day rather than every 15 minutes, which is welcoming. It
Yeah.
really is. Um, that's a great question. I really don't know. I know a lot of family has been asking myself and my wife, like, is it that bad? Should you be evacuating? And it, I would have to say no. I mean, we're as we're not we're listening, and we are trying to be as much in control of our daily routine as possible. Yes, I'll admit it. We do go outside. We went outside today for probably an hour just to try and get some ingredients together. I know, yes, any other day when it comes to going shopping, I'm the one that goes out. I go to the grocery store or wherever it is that we need to go to get supplies. I pick them up. And just to follow that rule of, if you need to get groceries, one person, don't take the entire family, right? But definitely today was okay. Our son is bringing us his shoes and pointing to the door, or just be, I need to get outside,
Yeah.
then yeah, we will step outside maybe once or twice
Yeah.
during the week. And when we do go out together as a family, it's no more than 10, 20 minutes. Today was a little longer, but at the same time,
Yeah.
like my wife and I, we had our masks on. We had hand sanitizer. Our son doesn't like wearing a mask, so we improvised. We put the rain cover over
Nice.
his stroller.
Yeah.
Um, we definitely do practice the safe social distancing of 6 feet.
Yeah.
So we do practice that a lot more, and it helps that the weather. If the weather is nice outside, people are like, the heck with this, I'm going outside. And
Yeah.
then that's where I'm like, nope, I'm staying inside, just because, yeah, foot traffic's a lot heavier. On days like today where it's cooler, it was on and off kind of rain slash ice falling from the sky, and
Yeah.
it's like, no, let's not really go out. So that definitely does help. But today was one of those days where it's like, you know what, we just need to go outside for a bit.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely been some time already, right?
Yeah.
And like, yeah, just do what we can, and you are practicing like the safety tips. But
Yeah.
I was more talking about the vibe, and
Oh, the
about
vibe.
like living in the Big Apple, and
Oh, that
all
vibe.
the jazz like that, right?
Okay. So before this whole coronavirus or pandemic,
Yeah.
whatever term you want to use, started, it's definitely interesting. Like the first 3 months,
Yeah.
um, me being a Canadian, you come in and you accidentally bump somebody, like, oh, sorry about that, hey, my bad, right? Because you're being kind, you're trying to be considerate.
Yeah.
But after that third month of just getting nonstop like attitude, or people just not really caring, because it's the New York
Yeah.
pace, the New York life, the New York style. People got to
Right.
get from point A to point B. Let me go. I got to go. Business, it's how it is here, and people are. It's a go 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 atmosphere. So
Yeah.
definitely after 3 months, I was like, you know what? I'm taking my Canadian polite person attitude, and I'm either throwing it out the door, I'm locking it away in the closet for a little bit, and
Yeah.
I'll admit I changed.
Hmm.
I've New York will make you a little tougher, a little more rougher, and
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, I'm still a gentleman at heart, or do my best to be one at any times.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely you got to have a thick skin here. You got to have a tough exterior. But it's definitely something, that's for sure. I never thought I'd be here in New York, and then to see the lights of Times Square for the
Oh
first time, to see the
man.
Statue of Liberty, to go to a Broadway show, and it's just like,
Broadway show, man.
right? It's like, holy crap. And then to venture off into Brooklyn or into Queens and
Yeah.
some of the surrounding areas, it's like, there's history in this town, and
Yeah.
definitely you got to take a moment to just stop, stand aside, and do some people watching,
Yeah.
and look up, because like here in like Manhattan area, it's the architecture.
Oh
There's
man.
some really amazing architecture. You just need to be able to stop, look up, and just check it out. When you go into Brooklyn, there's areas that are, I mean, the architecture, there's nothing super high like skyline towers and all that, but it's there. You just got to see it. You got to find it. You just got to keep that one eye open, and you'll see it.
That's so cool. Like
Yeah,
I remember like ever since I was young, like I knew about the New York Yankees and the New York Knicks, right? So
yeah.
that's definitely a destination. Like once this all this stuff like goes away.
No, definitely. It's definitely, you take a look at it now, and it's like, wow, it's quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then another question. How are you connected with indigenous food culture?
Internet.
Internet? Google?
um, yeah,
Duo?
definitely. That's a fantastic question. Um, how to explain it? I'll try and do a long story short here.
Yeah.
When I graduated from Nate back in 99, 2000, um, I knew I wanted to specialize in native cuisine or Aboriginal cuisine.
Yeah.
Keep it in mind, how old was I? 19 at the time. Don't do the
Yeah.
math, please. Uh, I'll admit, yeah, I was young. I
Yeah.
wasn't fully dumb, but I
Oh, that's too funny.
that's all I knew I wanted to do. And to me, that was, oh yeah, cooking with moose, elk, bison,
Yeah.
basically anything that was provided by Mother Earth. And at that time, again, other than the species that I just mentioned and the freshwater species that I knew or do know of, not including what I know now, wasn't a whole lot. And it's definitely over since 99 2000 up until now, so that's what, close to 19 plus years, 20 years almost. I've definitely learned, I've definitely grown, but I've been very fortunate to have been able, at starting at a very young age, right out of college, to work for companies and locations on the global scale. So I've worked here in the States, I've worked in Brazil, I've worked in or in Asia, period. And when you're abroad and you're trying to study your culture through its cuisine, yeah, the internet,
Yeah.
that's how I've had to do it.
Yeah.
um any books that I could order and find, and keep it in mind, I'm a visual learner and I hate to read, I'll admit it, but I
Yeah.
read when it comes to when I become educated about it, then yeah, I'll sit down and read for as long as I can, and sometimes I'll read pages two or three more times just so that I retain it.
Yeah.
Because Lord knows, like when I come back home to visit family, I don't have a lot of time. So
Yeah.
when I get to sit down with my mom, my brother, my cookum, and my mushum when he was still alive, it was
Yeah.
just visit, let's eat, let's socialize.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go fishing, and I'll learn a new filleting technique. Or if my uncle goes and shoots a moose and brings it back, yeah, I grab a knife, I jump out there, and I'm like, okay, how do I skin a moose again? Cool. Go. Okay, where do you want me to cut this joint? This joint, done.
Oh
And then
man.
they're like, hey, you know what? You helped out with breaking down the animal. Now guess what? Since you're the chef in the family,
Yeah.
here's this cut of meat. Go make supper. And I'm like, damn it. Fine.
Double
But
shift
I'll do
coming
it.
up.
Yeah, double shift for this day. I thought I was here to visit. Like, yeah, you're visiting. Now go visit the stovetop while you're at it. It's like, all right, fine.
That's
But
awesome.
that's been a lot of my education since arriving in New York.
Yeah.
uh, I've, I've become a member of a collective called the I Collective, with
Nice.
some fantastic chefs that are just, I'm amazed. I'm just blown away with the knowledge that they have. And I think I'm definitely one of the, and I say this reluctantly, one of the older people
Yeah.
in the collective. But to see this younger generation and the knowledge that they have,
Yeah.
and it's, yeah, I'll admit, I get a little jealous, and
Yeah.
it's like, wow, I wish I had that, or I wish I had like this much of what you know. And I'll get it. It's just going to take me a little longer because I'm here
Yeah.
and my community is back home
So far, right? Yeah.
so far. But it's a catch 22, because at the same time,
Yeah.
how many First Nations, Aboriginal, Indigenous, Métis, Inuit people do we know? Not just chefs, but just Indigenous people as a whole. Do we know that have been fortunate enough to travel the world and to cook at the same time? I've worked with Indigenous communities in Taipei and in Brazil, and it's for me, one of the best ways to learn about a culture that or a country that I'm living in is through the food,
Yeah.
right? Because there's two languages in this world that are international: music and food.
Oh man, for sure.
I can't sing, so but I
Yeah.
can cook.
Sing a chorus. Just joking.
Yeah, I got you there. I was like, I can sing 4 choruses or 5 choruses. How many you want?
There you go. There you go. Yeah. That's awesome though. That's so cool. Like, like every cook, every chef, that's one of their dreams is to be able to to travel the world and like learn about all different kind of foods, right? And to taste it. And from what I got from what you're saying, like you got to experience that, right?
Yeah.
And that's so cool, man. I really admire that, and I'm just jealous from hearing you say that too. But I'll give you a high five to that. That's freaking awesome.
There you go.
Yeah. And I got a couple more questions here.
Yeah.
So, who would be an influencer for yourself as a chef and doing like indigenous food culture?
Um, in right now, there's a bunch of people. Definitely anyone in the I Collective right now.
Yeah.
There's a young gentleman. I'm sure you've heard of him. His name is Brian Yazzie.
Yep. He's
Uh,
awesome.
he's he's doing some fantastic work,
Yeah.
and it's like him, like Brian Yazzie, Nefertali Duran,
Yeah.
um,
Excuse me.
Carlos Baca is
Yeah.
another gentleman. Um, Hillel Echohawk,
Yeah.
who I believe you may have worked with. These are
Yeah.
just a few from the I Collective whom, to me, I look to as role models
Yeah.
for not just any young Aboriginal person or Aboriginal chef, but even
Yeah.
for myself. And I'll admit, here it is. I'm going to be 40 come August.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it, but my body feels like it.
Yeah.
So I just reminded myself that I'm getting old. But like,
Hey, we all are, man. Like
that's right.
I'm getting up
Um,
there too. So don't worry about it too much, okay?
I won't. I won't. Thanks.
Uh,
But they're doing fantastic work. They, because I'm terrible with names. There's the sous chef.
yeah.
He's sorry, his name's the tip of my tongue.
Sean Sherman.
Yeah, Sean Sherman. He's I look at him as like the oh my goodness. See, now I'm trying to remember that chef's name. Thomas Keller of the French Laundry.
Oh, okay.
I look at Sean Sherman as the Thomas Keller of indigenous cuisine because he's the amount of work that
Yeah.
he's put into it, and for an individual who focuses on pre-colonial cuisine,
Yeah.
like that's when I first heard of that concept and read his book. I was like holy cow! Like
Yeah.
I never thought of it like that, and that just opened up a whole new page in the indigenous culinary world.
Yeah.
Um, Back home, definitely, like I've been following you, and the work that you've been doing is fantastic as well. So please keep doing what you do.
Thank you.
There's a gentleman in Edmonton who just released a book called Tawa, and his name is Shane Chartrand.
Yeah.
I do believe. I apologize if I had mispronounced your name, sir. But the work he's doing is just fantastic, and he's just right now he's going like this, and
Yeah. He's
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 just
doing some awesome stuff right now. He's on Red Chef Revival, Iron Chef
yeah,
Canada, and his new book, right?
yeah,
Dude's doing
that's a
so awesome.
yeah. And then a young lady out east, I believe her name is Sezen Notaway.
Yeah.
She was on Red Chef Revival as well. She's doing fantastic work, and there's so many more that I could name
Yeah.
or refer to, but then we're gonna need something harder to drink.
That's
But
so funny.
they're there, and
Yeah.
they're there. We're there,
Yeah.
and we're all in one way or another. We're making a splash
Yeah.
in the world today. It doesn't have to be the biggest splash, because even if you can just make the smallest ripple,
Yeah.
that ripple grows and grows and grows and grows and grows.
Yeah.
And the man, I just the next 5-10 years, it's like
Hmm.
it's gonna be so much more.
Yeah. It's super exciting. Like I'm a part of ICANN, and
Yeah,
I work with some of those names that you just said, and I've associated with a bunch of names that you just said. Just doing what we're doing, like I focus on Indigenous fusion. So yeah, like I know the circle, and everybody who's doing it right now is doing so like such awesome stuff. Like keep it up, guys. You guys rock. We're all in this together. There's a variety of different indigenous cooking ways that we can do and showcase, right?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So shout out to everybody that you just said. Hopefully, I'll be talking to some of them again on this. So it's good. And
There are.
then another one here would be: do you have a recipe that you can share with everybody?
I might. It depends on what kind of recipe we're looking for.
Yeah, just something that is, it's totally up to you to showcase something that you really love or that you want to share with everybody, like whether it's home cooking, French cooking, indigenous would be a bonus.
Yeah, definitely. I have some recipes that I could share.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Off the top of my head, I have a wild rice shortbread crust that I like to use when making pies or tarts. And
Oh man,
yeah, I know.
give me the
it,
recipe. I want to try that. Yeah.
yeah, I can, but I'll guarantee you, like me, you'll end up eating half of it before you even use it.
That's too funny. If I don't,
It's
I have,
true though.
yeah. If I don't,
Yeah,
I have four boys here that will too. So I'll probably have to
yeah.
make
There,
two
there
or
goes
three of
your
those.
food cost out the window.
Yeah, no dough, man.
Yeah. No, definitely. I have some recipes that I can share.
Yeah,
I'll take a look in my catalog, see what I got, and if there's
sounds
something I can share with you, or I think I have some links in my Facebook account or Instagram that I can share with everybody. And
yeah,
yeah, definitely, I can make something work for you.
that sounds awesome.
Right
Well,
on.
yeah, so that's it. So once you pick out your recipe, you can tag us, hashtag Mrbannock Challenge, hashtag Indigenous Cuisine, hashtag Local Fresh.
You
And
got it.
yeah, looking forward to seeing it. And thank you for your time.
Well, thank you for
It was,
having me. Greatly appreciated.
yeah, it was my pleasure. You stay safe out there, and
Will do,
say, say hi to your little one for me. And
for sure.
hopefully we'll do this again.
Yeah, you bet.
All right. You have a good one.
All right. You too,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah. Thanks.
Cheers.